Read this real quick for me, out.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14 and verse 2. Judah mourning.
So it's saying that the blacks are mourning right now. Don't you see? Like I said earlier, we are in the lower states. We have no leaders here to protect us. You know?
And the gates thereof languish.
There go again, we're talking about the leaders. That's why we out here. We out here to raise up the so-called blacks, the Mexican and Native Americans. We out here to build the families up again. We out here to raise up a nation. We out here to raise up an army because we lacking that.
They are black.
What color the Jews?
They are black.
They are what?
They are black.
So when they tell you that all the prophets in the Bible are white, they lying, brother. Have you heard that before? That the tribes are black? You heard it before, right? But a lot of our people haven't heard that. They didn't know that black was in the Bible or descriptions of the brothers was in the Bible. They didn't know that, but read on.
They are black unto the ground. And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up.
Our people out here crying, brother. Don't you see them marching in the streets, screaming Black Lives Matters? The brother George Floyd died. The little brother Tamir Rice. Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin. Our people are dying. We are crying because we are tired of the killing. We are tired of our people being executed for no reason.
That's right.
It seems like dogs got more rights than our own people, brother.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Why in the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, declaration means to signify, right? So, in the Declaration of Independence, it still states that we are 3/5 of a human being. So I'm trying to figure out why our people are voting. Don't you know? If it says so, they still going by the Declaration of Independence. That when we go vote, when 3 black men go, our votes count as 1, bro.
Taj Money.
Hebrew Israelites. You are Hebrew Israelites. All about Black Lives Matter. Israelites lives matter. With our spirit, we know that we are into captivity. So good shall go. So good shall go. And seal will shall go.
All you still gotta do is press that button and go shoot over here and be like that, man. Be over just like that in an hour, man. America. Do it one more time for me. Boom. Just like that.
Yeah, that's right.
How you doing, brother? What's your name? Will. Nice to meet you, Will. My name is Gideon. We out here just to teach our people who they are. Do you know what we're out here doing today?
A little bit.
Let me know. Break it down so I know where you at, where you stand at.
I don't know exactly what y'all doing, but I know y'all preaching the word. Y'all trying to get y'all side of everything. I see a lot of y'all down there all the time also.
Okay. So basically what we out here trying to do is we out here just trying to tell our people who they are according to the Bible, their nationality, how to repent and how to make it to the kingdom of heaven, because that's the goal at the end of the day, right, Will? To make it to the kingdom, right? So let me ask you a real quick question. What is your nationality according to the Bible?
I asked this one before, but they told me I was wrong, so you tell me.
So you say you be called so-called African American. I'm probably sure you gave that, right?
Yeah.
So African American comes named after 2 white people, so we don't descend from white people. So if your dad is a so-called African American, you'll be from the tribe of Judah. That would be your nationality.
That's right.
And how do you know that you are from these 12 right here? What did they explain to you that you are the children of Israel? You don't remember? Okay, let me ask you a quick question. In 1619, something important happened to our people. Do you know what happened in 1619?
I don't.
That's the beginning of slavery for the so-called African American and so-called blacks. So what transportation did they use to bring our people over here?
Boats?
Boats, right? Did you know that was prophesied in the Bible 3,000 years ago by the prophet Moses?
I did.
Okay, we're gonna bring that out to you because it's very significant that it fits only us, because no other nation that you can think of went on 2 cargo slave ships like the way we did. You got that for me out? Bring that out.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
What happened to the so-called black man?
With shit.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
This happened to the so-called blacks in 1619, because also in 1492, this also happened to the so-called Mexicans and the Native American, where they brought them from America all the way to, you know, Portugal, Spain, and Italy, and that little coastal area. So they was the only people that fit this curse. Now we gotta understand, at that time when Moses had freed the children of Israel the first time through Egypt, you know, when they split the Red Sea and they walked out, why did it say that they will go back into Egypt again with ships? So we have to understand what Egypt means. It has a symbolical meaning. You got that for me out? Yes. Read that real quick.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verse 6. I am the Lord thy God.
He's saying the Lord thy God. He's being possessive because he was only the God for the children of Israel, nobody else, because you gotta understand, he didn't bring out the so-called Edomites, the Ammonites, the Hamites out of Egypt. He brought the children of Israel out of Egypt. Read on.
Which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage.
From the house of what?
From the house of bondage.
So we have to understand, what is another word for bondage, brother? What's another word for bondage? It starts with an S. Slavery.
Okay, slavery.
You know, so we're going to go back over here to Deuteronomy 28:6 and we're going to insert slavery into Egypt. Read this real quick for me.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt slavery again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
Our people came over here by cargo slave ships. This was prophesied in the Bible 3,000 years ago. Now continue read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
So as a nation of people, we have not seen our homeland, Will. So where are we from? Do you know where we're from? Or where do they say that we're from as a nation of people?
They say we from Africa.
They say we're from Africa, right? Okay, let me bring you let me mess with your mind a little bit. Okay, Africa, right? Africa is a continent. There's 55 different countries in Africa. So where do we come from exactly in Africa? Because as a nation of people, as the so-called black man, we don't know, but you guess if you go to an actual African, he can tell you from Zimbabwe, he can tell you from Ghana, or Congo, or Egypt, but where do we come from? I'm gonna give you what the Bible say, where it tells us where we're from. You got that for me out?
Yes, sir.
Read that real quick.
The book of Galatians, chapter 4, verse 26. But Jerusalem,
But what?
but Jerusalem,
Nah, Africa.
but Jerusalem, which is above, is free.
Because that is the top real estate on the planet, brother. They fighting over Jerusalem right now. You know?
Which is the mother of us all.
This is where our people come. We're actually from Jerusalem, brother. Now let's go back over here.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into slavery again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold.
Okay, so when we got those slave ships, what happened to us, Will? What'd you say?
You said when we got on slave ship?
Yeah, what's the first thing that happened to us when we got off those slave ships when we came to America? What they do to us? What the Bible say?
Ye shall be sold.
That's what happened to us. We got sold. You know the old sayings, 55, 65, 65, sold to Master Johnson down in Texas, 65, 65, sold to Master Chris down in North Carolina. We became their property, right? We were sold onto them, but what nation of people was we sold to? The whites, right? Now let's hear what the Most High God called them.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Unto your what?
Unto your enemies.
Nah, your friend.
Unto your enemies.
Nah, Chris, I work with at work.
Unto your enemies.
Nah, John invited me over to his house.
Unto your enemies.
So when has this changed, Will? We were sold to our enemies. How come they not our enemies today still? Because guess what? They doing the same thing. It's just they taking another form. Because guess what? When things get older, you got to evolve, right? So that's all they doing. They just evolving the situation that we in. Because guess what? When we was in the slave plantation, we still living in the ghettos. We were still living in the worst conditions, right? Look at us now. We still living in the worst conditions today. They sectioned us off and put us in the ghettos. We got the worst stores. They feeding us pork, killing our people off still like they did back in slavery. So nothing has changed under the sun, but read on.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
So for slave men and slave women, read on.
And no man shall buy you.
And no man was gonna get us out of this term. That's what it basically means. Because guess what? Martin Luther King tried. Malcolm X tried, Marvin Garvey tried, the Black Panthers tried. Where they at today? Pretty much all the leaders in our neighborhood been killed, or they fled them off, sent them back. The Black Panthers ain't what they used to be no more. You don't see them marching in front of the courthouse fighting for our people's rights and stuff like that. Or when our people get pulled over, you know, they used to bear arms rights. They used to know everything. We don't do that nowadays. Give me Jeremiah 14:2. Read this real quick, because this is another curse that applies to our people.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given into another people.
Shall be given unto another people. So what happened? What nation group that happened to, Will? To the black peoples, right? When we in the cornfield, or we was being sold on the section blocks, right there shown at the bottom right here. They might send the dad to California, they might send the mama to New York, they might send the son to Texas, they might send the daughter to Florida. I was reading this book when I was born, when I was a slave. She said that her 9-month-old daughter, 9 months, right? She just had her. The mother was sent to Wisconsin, and then the daughter was sent to Louisiana. 9 months. Sold on the auction block because he didn't want her. This fit us, you know?
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
Because we didn't have nobody in our hand, we didn't have no military power, we didn't have the funds to get our kids back. Guess what they doing today in now society? They got to call CPS. Guess what? They come in your house, take your kids without no cause, and then what? You got to go to court. There's still nobody in your hand. You got to go to court and fight for them. And then if you do get them back, guess what? All that money you spent, who's going to? What nation of people? The so-called white man, because they run the court system. So this is a curse that fit us. Give me Deuteronomy 28:54. Read this real quick for me, y'all.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14 and verse 2. Judah mourning.
So it's saying that the blacks are mourning right now. Don't you see? Like I said earlier, we are in the lower states. We have no leaders here to protect us. You know?
And the gates thereof languish.
There go again. We're talking about the leaders. That's why we out here. We out here to raise up the so-called blacks, the Mexican and Native Americans. We out here to build the families up again. We out here to raise up a nation. We out here to raise up an army because we lacking that.
They are black.
What color the Jews?
They are black.
They are what?
They are black.
So when they tell you that all the prophets in the Bible are white, they lying, brother. Have you heard that before? That the tribes are black? You heard it before, right? But a lot of our people haven't heard that. They didn't know that black was in the Bible or descriptions of the brothers was in the Bible. They didn't know that, but read on.
They are black unto the ground. And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up.
Our people out here crying, brother. Don't you see them marching in the streets, screaming Black Lives Matters? The brother George Floyd died. The little brother Tamir Rice. Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin. Our people are dying. We are crying because we are tired of the killing. We are tired of our people being executed for no reason.
That's right.
It seems like dogs got more rights than our own people, brother.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Why in the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, declaration means to signify, right? So in the Declaration of Independence, it still states that we are 3/5 of a human being. So I'm trying to figure out why our people are voting. Don't you know? If it says so, they still going by the Declaration of Independence. That when we go vote, when 3 black men go, our votes count as one, Will.
Bring it up. What's your way?
Huh?
I said, what's your way?
Okay, I'm just asking you, you know what I'm saying? They talking about the church. How many gates are at the kingdom of heaven, Will? Do you know? We can prove all that to you. Continue reading
But
on.
it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments.
It says to observe. To observe means to obey, right? To do, it may be small in words, but that means to put forth action. Because say for instance, you go to your girl and say, hey, babe, you know I love you, right? Well, if you tell her that you love you and your action's not supporting it, do you think she gonna believe what you're saying or your action that goes with it? The action, right? So this is what the Most High God is saying. He's telling us to do something. We don't have the action to put behind it. How can we say we love God then? He's commanding us to do something. So what is he commanding us to do?
To observe, to do all his commandments.
To do all his commandments, right? So how many commandments was you taught, Will? How many?
Say it one more time.
How many commandments was you taught in this society over here?
Actually told or what?
How many was you told?
Well,
They told you 12, right? Hold that real quick for me. Give me Leviticus 21:5. Hold that real quick for me and give me Numbers 15:38. Because we're going to give you 2 commandments that are not part of it. It's actually the 10 commandments that mostly our people are taught over here. Right? You said 12. But we're going to give you some more commandments that go along the Bible, because there's actually 613 in total between the man, the woman, child. But they don't never teach us this. You got that for me?
Yes, sir.
Read this real quick.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 21, verse 5. They shall not make baldness upon their head.
So our people, during this time, we weren't supposed to make baldness upon our head. You know how Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, they got the head bald and shaved. We're not supposed to do that because that is not our custom. That was actually an African custom. When they mourned the dead, they would shave their head bald, right, to mourn the dead. Or during that time, they will also do it so one day when they want to be a god, you know what I'm saying, they dress up and everything, or when they want to be a goddess. They did a lot of cross-dressing and down in Egypt. So, read on.
Neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard.
We're not supposed to be shaving off our beards and everything, because during slavery, guess what they did? They shaved off our beards, right? And why they do that? Because our beard was it signified us being a man. So anytime that you saw it during the slavery, hey boy, get that for me. Cause guess what? The only 2 people that can't grow beards are what? A woman and a little boy. So that's why they do that, to humiliate us and to call us little boys and to treat us like kids. But read on.
That's right. Nor make any cuttings in their flesh.
So that's just going into tattoos and everything. I got tattoos myself, but I repented from it and I don't do that no more. I don't go out and get tattoos.
That's right.
So I'm just letting you know that was a custom that we're not supposed to do. Don't that make 13 in the commandments right there? Okay, let me give you another one. Read this real quick out.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 15 and verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel.
Now speak to the whole world.
Unto the children of Israel.
There you go again. We're speaking only to the children of Israel, not the other nation, but the children of Israel. Read on.
And bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
He said to bid them, he said to command them. So this is another commandment by the Most High God, to make fringes. Read on.
Throughout their generations.
So what it means throughout your generation, Will? Huh? What it means when it says to make fringes throughout your generations.
Keep the same energy pretty much.
Right, so as long as you procreating, you having kids, as long as your kids are having kids, they're supposed to have fringes on them. Read on.
And that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
Right, so the reason why we had these fringes on is to remind us about keeping the commandments. So, like you said, with the being bald and stuff, you go get your hair cut and stuff like that, and they ask you what you want. You know, you might be used to getting your hair slick and everything, but now that you know who you are, you be like, oh no, I can't do that, brother. Just don't give me a little type of fade, you know, fade me up real quick and I'll be about my way. You know, just to keep us a reminder of ourselves. Go back to Deuteronomy 28:15. We're going to finish that out for you. Because these curses and these blessings was only given to the children of Israel.
That's right.
Because guess what? The couple curses I gave you, they only affecting us in our neighborhood, Will. You got that for me? Okay, read on.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Because the Most High God talking to you, Will. It's time to make that step, man.
That all these curses,
That all these what?
all these curses,
Is a curse a good or bad thing, Will? Right, it just means devoted for destruction, read on.
shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So it's going to overtake us. I'm going to give you another one that came along with the slavery, read on.
Cursed shall thou be in the city.
So it says, cursed shall thou be in the city. Are we not cursing the city, Will? Why is our people not living in Plano or Richardson, as far as like the Highland Park, as far as the vast population? Because what nation of people are living over there? The rich and wealthy, right? The so-called whites, the Arabs, the Africans, the West Indians with the dots on their forehead. You might see a little bit of sprinkling in there, but guess where the majority of our people at? In the ghettos, where the dopes and the drugs at, where the potholes are. We barely can get our streets fixed. You know what I'm saying? Where there's nothing good that's going on, but they got fresh water, clean air that way. Why in Flint, Michigan, in the hood still, they still ain't got clean water? And that what's that been, almost what, 10 years? 10 years since they had dirty water, and still ain't got nobody up there to clean up for our people. But read on.
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
And cursed thou be in the field, brother. Who was cursed in the cotton field? Sugar cane field. The tobacco field. We was, right? And now we cursing the modern day work field, Will. Because guess what? We last hired and first fired, brother. Because they're going to have to make some changes to the company. Guess what with this COVID-19? They laid off a lot of people, but it was a lot of us. Because guess what? John and Becky, they still at work when the whole COVID-19 was still going on. Our people sitting at home trying to figure out how we going to pay our bills, when our next meal coming, how we going to fix our car. But the other nation, they still living good. Read on.
Cursed shall be the basket and thy store.
Cursed shall be the basket in thy store. Ain't they not feeding us GMOs? They feeding us that pork, that which we not supposed to be eating, but it's killing our people. They putting pork in everything nowadays, brother. The stuff that we eating ain't what like it used to be no more. The stuff that we drinking ain't what it used to be no more. Our stores, Wills, you got a business?
Not at the moment.
Not no more?
Not at the moment.
Oh, not at the moment. I ain't got no business. What happened to, like I said, when the COVID-19 hit, who did it affect? So-called black businesses, right? Guess what? Walmart's still thriving. Target was still thriving. Kroger was still thriving. But they owned by the so-called white man. I'm just trying to just get you a picture of it, how these curses fit us. Read on.
Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land.
And when it's talking about the fruit of our body, it's talking about our kids. Because guess what? They go to school, they learn about the so-called white man history, and then when it's time to learn our history, what happened? They teach us what? Slavery, right? Why they never teach us the good things? They might give us Black History Month, which is February, the shortest month of all. And they barely teach us anything on that. They teach us about the same black figures, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks. Why about the brother Hannibal? Why not about the brother King David or King Solomon? Why not about Jesus Christ? Because they were so-called black men. They did good for our nation. Why they never teach us about that? Why they keep giving us the same people? Michael Jackson, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Shaq. Why about the people that actually did a great in the community? Not saying that they did, but the people that made a great effort though to make that change. You get what I'm saying though? So give me Deuteronomy 10 and 12. Because now that you know that you are a Hebrew Israelite and these curses fit us, there's something that the Most High God requires you, Will. You can't make haste no more. Give me Psalms 119, I think that's 59 that I want to say. It's time for you to start serving your God, man. Cause I know these curses, they I don't know exactly if they hinder you, but they hinder us, brother, as a nation. We not thriving because we didn't want to keep the Most High God law, statutes, commandments. That is why we in the condition that we are. That's what got us on the slave ship. That's what got us in the cotton field. That is what got us to having baby mamas and baby daddies. That is what got us having HIV, AIDS, COVID-19 plaguing our people, the flu. We didn't have none of that when we kept the Most High God law, statutes, commandments. But since when we want to do our own thing, all these curses came upon us. Why is it's affecting us heavily more than any other nation? Don't you know that the jail cell, we populate the jail cell? The so-called black man populate 40% of the jail cell. That's a big number.
That's right.
That is a big number. You got that for me? I'll read this real quick.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel.
And now Will, because he's speaking to you, because you come from the tribe of what again, Will? Judah, right? Okay.
That's right.
And now, Israel, what do the Lord thy God require of thee?
Okay.
But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his command, all his ways, to love him and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. To keep the commandments.
To do what?
To keep the commandments.
The Most High God want Will to do?
To keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good.
That's
So
right.
it's time for you to start keeping the commandments, Will, because this is for your good. Because as long as you're not keeping the commandments, as long as you want to do what you want to do, these curses still going to continue to bear on you.
That's right.
These curses still going to continue to attack you, whether you think or not, Will. We still in captivity.
That's right.
We still in the land where our people was captivated.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying, Will? We still label, like I told you earlier, 3/5 as a human being. You know how they keep up with us? The Social Security card.
That's right.
They use that on in the trade market. We started Black Friday. We was on the auction start. That's where Black Friday came from.
That's right.
The origins of it from.
That's right.
Wall Street. We started that because they were selling us during Wall Street. We became profit. That's where the whole thing of Social Security came from.
That's right.
What do you got you holding? Give me had in my head. Psalms. You got that for me? Read that. Hold that. Read that real quick for me, y'all.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 59. I thought on my ways and turned my feet unto thy testimony.
Because this is King David. He said, man, when he heard these laws, these statutes and commandments that the Most High God wanted him to do, he made haste and started to do it. Read on.
That's right.
I made haste.
What will it need to do?
I made haste and delayed not.
And did what?
And delayed not to keep thy commandments.
It's time to start keeping the commandments, Will. Let me ask you a quick question. How you get to the kingdom of heaven? I know we talked about it earlier and stuff like that. How you get to the commandment? I mean, to the kingdom. Oh, then I'm gonna break up the next teaching. Gonna tell you how to get to the kingdom, Will.
Struggle together.
Hold on, I want to get to Matthew 22 and verse
Tosh Money.
St. Matthew 22, verse 29. Ye do err,
Understand? Read.
not knowing the scriptures,
Knowing the scripture.
nor the power of God.
Lord, the power of God. He's coming back like a thief in the night, man. Your beer, your barbecues, and your blood is not going to save you.